Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer visited the southern border and specifically went to various detention facilities to see what the situation is. Now, of course, this has been a big story. I wish he had gone earlier. But nonetheless, he went to draw attention to the inhumane conditions that migrants are kept in. He talks about it a little bit in this next clip.
They tried to make things look better the day before. 400 people were taken out of one facility yesterday. But even with that, it's awful, the conditions that these people are placed in. We asked Secretary McAleenan, what percentage of these people are criminals? Minuscule, 2%, 3%. But they're treating them all like criminals. And if you listen to the president, you'd think they were all criminals. They're not. They're people simply seeking some safety, some honor, some decency for their children. Well, we'd like to work with the Republicans, but so far they've been intransigent. Donald Trump he makes the Republicans afraid to come together with us. We're waiting for them to come together with us. We hope and pray they will.
Republicans aren't just being intransigent to be intransigent, and they're not just afraid of Donald Trump. They're afraid of the Republican electorate, which does see all of those migrants as criminals. Just the very thought of them trying to come into the country to seek asylum in the mind of a Republican means that they're criminals. I mean, that's what they've said over and over again. The vast majority of Republican voters are in favor of what's happening at the border. They love what they see with the detention facilities. And when we covered the story of Mike Pence going to one of the facilities where migrant men are being detained, people were wondering, well, why would he want cameras to follow him there? Well, it doesn't look good. No, it doesn't look good to normal, rational, humane people. It looks great to the Republican electorate. So I think that Republicans in Congress are much more concerned about their political careers as opposed to doing the right thing. That's why they're not working with you, Chuck Schumer. But
no.
Yeah. Anyway, I've said this before, but Trump now wants to meet with Schumer. He put out a tweet in response to Schumer's press conference saying, based on the comments made by Senator Schumer, he must have seen how dangerous and bad for our country the border is. It is not a manufactured crisis as the fake news media and their Democrat partners tried to portray. He said he wants to meet. I will set up a meeting ASAP.
No, it's in some sense literally a manufactured crisis because Trump manufactured it. And by that, I don't mean that he's lying about it, which is usually the case. I mean that he helped create this crisis. He cut the funding that we were sending to those Latin American countries that desperately needed that assistance. Situation got worse there. The war on drugs is a disaster. It already exacerbated the problem, and he continues that. You add those things, and what's happened? The number of people crossing the border has gone to a 13-year high. Like Republicans have a funny way of taking credit for things that they screwed up. Like Bush was like, hey, 9/11 happened on my watch. How is that a good thing? And now Trump is like, hey, the crisis at the border happened on my watch. Well, you said you were gonna fix it and you just made it worse. And then you brag about it. And then the detention facilities, yeah, they're an absolute crisis. The thing that I take away is, and guys, again, if you're a right winger, it doesn't matter, man. You gotta know how bad it is, those conditions. When Matt Gaetz, one of the most right wing, I mean, how many times have I called that guy a brown shirt, right? Conservative congressman went down there and said, wow, the conditions that they are being kept in are horrific, okay? So even the most zealot right winger says, yeah, they're in terrible shape. Well, who created that? Trump did. Now, he stuffed all those people in to those facilities that have the cages, right? And so now, and doesn't give them soap and mattresses, and it said you've heard all the horror stories, and they're correct. So then he manufactured this crisis, and then says, "See, we got to fix it." Yeah, there's one way to fix it: take you out of office. That's one way to fix it.
That would be the ultimate way to fix it.
Right.
I love that. But I just want to add one more thing to it. So there's various ways that Trump manufactured the crisis, and when I say manufactured, I don't mean that there aren't migrants trying to come in to seek asylum. Of course there are, and the numbers are much higher now than they were under the Obama administration. That is real, that is not manufactured. But the way that Trump has decided to handle it is very different from what previous administrations have done. I mean, these types of crises have happened in our history. And the way that you usually handle it is, okay, you're seeking asylum, there's due process. You get your day before a judge, and a judge gets to hear your case, and that judge makes a decision as to whether or not you stay or you leave. But all these people are being treated as criminals, and they're being detained immediately. Whereas before, they would be let go, right? And they would come back to their court date. The vast majority of them, you look at the numbers, would come back to their court date and stand before a judge. What Trump wants to do and what this administration has done, they've made the decision that they want to detain every single person who seeks asylum, and then they go on a media blitz defaming and slandering them as these dangerous criminals. And that's the reason why you see all of these crowded detention facilities that Nancy Pelosi was totally okay with giving $4.6 billion to, even though there are no safeguards to improve those conditions. So look, it's a frustrating situation. He has cut foreign aid to the countries that desperately need it to improve the conditions there so people don't flee seeking safety. I mean, every decision that this administration has made, it's all about being punitive, it's all about demonizing people, and it's costing us quite a bit of money, and it's making these private prisons that operate these detention facilities a lot of money, taxpayer money.
So I want to be constructive. So certainly we do critique on the show, but we always try to give you what people should do instead. In this case, Democratic Party. So during the capitulation of Pelosi, when she gave the $4.6 billion, one easy way of framing it would have been, we at least need mattresses. Now you could have all the other details, but that forces the Republicans to go, no mattresses. We want everybody to sleep on concrete, including the kids. American people aren't gonna, as vicious as some of the Republican voters are, they're gonna lose 3/4 of people. They're gonna go, I mean, come on, Jesus, at least give them mattresses. I mean, we're not that cruel, are we? Right? So she could have gone in that easy rhetorical way, but no, as a usual, complete surrender immediately. By the way, if you didn't see my Wall Street Journal article about Nancy Pelosi's capitulation and how she doesn't represent Democratic voters, check that out. If you're watching this later on YouTube or Facebook, we'll put a link down below so you can click on it and have it be easy for you. She's not our leader. Okay, look, for Chuck Schumer, it should be relatively straightforward. Say, hey, look, I want to help fix up these detention centers and the crisis we have that you created at the border, okay? So the number one thing that I'm going to fund and I'm going to insist on is judges. Why? Because judges will help these proceedings go faster. So that'll get the people out of the cages quicker, but if they lose their asylum cases, it will also deport them quicker. So there's no way that you could disagree with that. The right wing should be ecstatic about that. Like, oh, more judges, so we get them out of the country quicker, right? But Trump hates judges because he hates the rule of law. He has said in previous occasions, why do we even need judges? Literally about this. So you put him in a situation where he is going to go to his instinct and obviously make a mistake. And even the right wing are gonna go, you're against judges? But the judges would expedite things. Why would you be against judges? So it's a layup for you to win rhetorically and then help you negotiate for more funding to make the situation better, including more judges, right? But will Schumer do that? No, always Schumer and Pelosi are like, what do you need? I wouldn't want to disagree even 1% because that will mean that I'd have to fight, and that's not what I do. I'm a carpet, I lay down. So that's likely what's going to happen. They're not going to try anything rhetorically. They're not going to try anything budgetarily. As usual, they're going to surrender. Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.